I am Hassan, and in the last few days, I lived the worst nightmare of my life. My friend Karim disappeared more than a week ago. He doesn't answer his phone, and no one has seen him. Karim was a normal person, but he was obsessed with one thing: exploring abandoned places and reading books on magic and jinn. At first, I wasn't worried much, but he wasn't the type to disappear suddenly. So I decided to go to his house. I knocked on the door repeatedly, but there was no answer. I called him repeatedly, but his phone kept ringing without an answer. Here I felt that something was very wrong. I went to the neighbors and asked them about him, but everyone was confused. They said that they hadn't seen him for days and that they hear strange sounds from his apartment at night, whispers, muffled screams, footsteps when no one was there. I asked them for a screwdriver and decided to break the door and enter myself. As soon as I opened the door, a foul smell hit my face, a mixture of mold and burnt flesh. The apartment was completely dark, as if it had been abandoned for years. I walked slowly inside the place, feeling my heart beating violently. There were books scattered everywhere, but not ordinary books. They were filled with strange symbols and incomprehensible spells, as if they were books for summoning jinn. On the walls, there were terrifying writings carved with nails or a sharp tool. I opened the gate. It will never close. He is coming. He is watching me. The red eye sees him, but he does not see you. I started calling out to Karim, but there was no response. I felt that there was something watching me from the darkness, but I did not see anyone. As I searched, I found something that made my blood freeze in my veins. On the table, there was a small notebook. The pages were torn from some of its parts, as if someone had tried to destroy it. I opened it and started reading in a trembling voice. Day 1. I found an old book on the black market. They say it's a real book to summon an ancient entity. I don't believe in these superstitions, but curiosity is killing me. Day 3. I tried reading some spells, just incomprehensible words. But tonight, I started hearing strange voices in the apartment. Whispers coming from the corners of the room, even though I was alone. Day 5. I woke up in the middle of the night. I found the mirrors in my apartment broken, and on the wall, a phrase written in black blood. You saw him, so he saw you. I don't remember writing it, and I don't have a pen of that color. Day 7. Something is here with me. I was sitting reading, and I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. When I turned around, there was no one there, but my shadow wasn't moving the same way I was. It was like another being watching me. Day 9. I woke up to find someone sitting at the foot of the bed. I couldn't see his face, only his red eyes in the darkness. He said to me in a deep voice, "I opened the gate, and now you will pay." Last day. I can't escape. I can't hide. He's here with me, moving in the shadows, talking in my ear while I sleep. Tonight he'll take me. Tonight I'll become one of them. Terror incarnate. The moment I finished reading the note, the only lamp I was holding went out. I was in complete darkness, and I felt something moving behind me. Then I heard a whisper right next to my ear, "You shouldn't have come." I turned around in panic, but there was no one there. Suddenly the air began to get unnaturally cold, and I heard heavy footsteps slowly approaching me. I saw a shadow moving on the wall, but there was nothing in front of me. Then at the edge of the room, something appeared, a tall, deformed body with a black face from which only 2 glowing red eyes were visible. I screamed and fell backwards, but the creature didn't move. It just whispered in a scary voice, "Now you know the truth. You can't escape. and then my consciousness went completely black. I woke up hours later to find myself thrown in the street in front of Karim's building. The police were there, and the neighbors were looking at me in horror. The police entered Karim's apartment, but they said that there was no trace of him, as if no one lived there in the first place. But the thing that made me lose my mind was what I found in my pocket. It was the note, but the last page was different. There was only one sentence written in Karim's handwriting, but it wasn't there when I read it inside the apartment. I chose you. Now it's your turn. The never-ending nightmares. After the night of terror in Karim's apartment, I tried to convince myself that everything that happened was just a hallucination, a waking nightmare, but my mind was telling me otherwise. Something evil was sticking to me now. In the following days, things started to get worse. I couldn't sleep well anymore. Every night was filled with voices and whispers. No one but me could hear them, even when I was with my friends. But what made me realize that I wasn't out of the nightmare was on the third night. I was sitting in my room, trying to write something that would help me understand what was happening. I was looking at my phone when I noticed something strange in the mirror next to me. My reflection wasn't moving as fast as me. As if it wasn't me. I froze, my heart almost jumped out of my chest. Then I saw my reflection's eyes turn a dark red, and before I could scream, it started smiling at me. But I didn't smile. I quickly got up and turned my face, but there was nothing in the room. The mirror was empty, but my reflection was still there, looking at me with a distorted smile. Then I heard a whisper from the mirror. "We have chosen you. Don't try to escape." I hit the mirror hard. It broke into small pieces, but the moment it shattered, I heard a faint laughter coming from the broken glass. The next night, I suddenly woke up at 3 a.m. to the sound of my bedroom door slowly opening. I was sure I had locked it before sleeping. I turned around slowly, my heart almost stopping. The door was completely open, but there was no one there. I thought it was just a draft, but when I looked down at the door, I saw the shadow of 2 feet standing there. I tried to move, to scream, but my body was completely paralyzed. Then the shadow started moving, entering the room with heavy steps. I could see a tall body, a featureless being, but its red eyes were glowing in the darkness. He came closer to me until he was at the edge of the bed. Then he slowly leaned over and whispered to me in a voice sharp as needles, "Karim didn't disappear. Karim became one of us." Then he disappeared into the darkness as he appeared. At that moment, my body was freed, so I jumped out of bed and turned on all the lights in the room. But I knew there is no light in this world that can stop what has already started. A message from the unknown. The next day, I was sitting in the cafe trying to act normally, but my mind was replaying the horror scenes I had experienced. I opened my phone to search for any information about the red-eyed entities, but suddenly I received a mysterious message from an unknown number. "We know you saw him, and now he sees you." I almost threw the phone in terror, but before I did, I received a photo. A photo of my room, taken from the corner of the bed where I was sleeping last night. Who took it? And what does it mean that I am under surveillance? The end, or the beginning of the real nightmare? Now I realize the truth. What happened to Karim wasn't just a disappearance. It was the beginning of something bigger. He opened a door that couldn't be closed, and now I'm inside that door too. But the real question is, when will it be my turn to become one of them? After receiving the terrifying image, I realized that I was in real danger, and that what happened to Karim was not just a disappearance, but a curse that extended to me. I did not know what to do, but I remembered a friend of mine named Mahmoud. who knew a sheikh who was said to be able to deal with such matters. I called Mahmoud and told him everything, and he asked me to come immediately. I felt a terrible heaviness in my body, as if there was an invisible force trying to prevent me from moving. But I fought my sense of fear and set off to the sheikh's house. Meeting the Sheikh Abdul Rahman's house was simple, but it radiated a strange calm, as if there was something protecting it from evil. When I entered, I was sweating and I felt my breathing quicken. The sheikh looked at me carefully, then asked me to sit in front of him. He began to recite verses from the Holy Quran to me, in a strong and confident voice. As soon as he began to recite, I felt a sharp pain in my head, as if something was screaming inside me. I was shaking, and my eyes were filled with tears for no reason. I started to feel something moving inside my body, as if it wanted to get out, or as if it was resisting the sheikh's words. After several minutes of ruqya, the sheikh stopped reading and looked at me with serious eyes. He said to me calmly, "You are not alone. There is an entity that has penetrated your body since that night you entered Karim's house." My body trembled, and I asked him in a fearful voice, "What do you mean? Am I possessed?" He nodded slowly, then said, "Not completely possessed, but it is trying to control you. Curiosity led you to something that is none of your business, but unfortunately, some doors do not close easily after opening them." Then he added, "When I went to Karim's house, the place was not empty, but it was filled with evil spirits, and there was an eye watching you. Once you entered and read his memoirs, you became a target for them. At that moment, I started to feel something moving inside me, as if there was a being trying to escape or resist. I started seeing black shadows moving in the corners of the room, and the light started flashing in a scary way. But the sheikh didn't stop. He continued to read verses from the Quran in a louder voice. Suddenly I felt something coming out of me, as if my soul was being snatched away for a few moments. Then a terrifying sound came out, a sound that sounded like a scream that wasn't human. I stepped back, feeling like I had been underwater for a long time. Then I came back to reality. The air became heavy, as if the room was filled with invisible smoke, and then everything was quiet. The sheikh looked at me and said, "We expelled him. But he didn't go far. He's still watching you." The end? Or just a truce? After I left the sheikh's house, I felt like I had regained a part of myself, but I wasn't sure if the curse had really ended. On my way home, I opened my phone and found a new message from the unknown number. "Do you think we're done? We're always watching." But this time, I wasn't afraid. I looked up at the sky and took a deep breath. Yes, curiosity and the love of adventure are part of our nature as humans, but some doors should never be opened. If you liked the story, please like and share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to receive all that is new. Thank you.